As many TVET colleges reopen in the Eastern Cape and across the country, students are concerned about mid-year examinations. Many say they were inadequately prepared as they did not have access to data and laptops during the lockdown. Let's get more on this from Anda Nqonji. A very good afternoon to you, Anda. Take us through what the main concerns besides data are of those students.
Very good afternoon to you too. Well, as you can see around me, I'm surrounded by frustrated students who say that they were expected to write their mid-year exams just a couple of days after the schools opened or after the college opened following the lockdown. They say that they are frustrated, of course, because they did not have adequate time to prepare for these exams, and saying that though some universities and colleges made provisions in terms of equipping or supporting their students during that period, they were not supported enough. They did not receive enough support. Things like notes, for instance, they say they did not receive any notes from their lecturers or WhatsApp notes from their lecturers, which are some of the things, if you can recall, that some students had been receiving from other universities, had been receiving during the lockdown period. So they are frustrated that after such a short time of opening and not having attended any classes, they are now expected to write their exams, stating that they did open the college sometime 2 weeks back, and even though it was open, it didn't take long before it had to shut down again or close again because of a lecturer that had tested positive, and some lecturers and other lecturers had to go under isolation, which meant that these students could not continue studying despite the fact that the college had been open. But I'm going to speak to a couple of students who just wrote their exams today to just see how they felt about their examination. But let me first mention that one of the major concerns that these students seem to have is the issue of funding. As you would realize that Eastern Cape is predominantly rural areas, predominantly in this province, which means that some of these students are from, disadvantaged backgrounds, and they rely solely and merely on NSFAS for funding for their meals, education, and also things like books and stationery. So, and accommodation, not forgetting accommodation. So they say that they might forfeit their funding, which means that they will not be able to come back to the college next year if that is the case, and if they get to fail their examination, they are not guaranteed any funding. But let me speak to some of these students. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
How did you feel about your examination today? How was it in general?
To be honest with you, it was literally ridiculous. It was very difficult due to the fact that we only completed 40% of the syllabus, and then like 60% of the syllabus we couldn't finish it. But we didn't there's certain modules that we couldn't get into due to the fact that the strike of this coronavirus thingy. So now the exam we had to write only with 40% actually.
And how did you prepare yourself from this exam? We know that there was lockdown, so you were not really able to come to class. But how did you get to prepare yourself in your own personal capacity?
Personally, I tried my best to be focused and all the stuff. The only thing that the college has done is that by opening WhatsApp groups so that whenever we have questions, then we can ask our lecturers. But that failed. College literally failed us as students of PE College due to the fact that we were supposed to open the schools on the 10th of last month. The time we opened, nothing was happening at the college, like for the whole 3 weeks up until we wrote our exam. They said that we're gonna attend classes, but we couldn't attend classes because the college management was not ready to receive students, because there were times that we have to close for the whole week and then open again, and then they told us that we have to write exam now. So now it's kind of ridiculous, and it's also contradicting with us, because mentally as students of Peak College we were not prepared at all.
Thank you so much. Let me just grab another student. Sir, how did you feel? How do you feel actually? I know that you are only starting your exams on the 15th, and we had a conversation briefly before. Now you are saying that you are very anxious about your examination. What makes you so anxious?
The fact that we know that at this very moment coronavirus has really affected our country and globally. Many people have died and many people are still being infected daily. So the anxiety that actually comes to us as students is that you know that actually exams are coming But then again, what's the point of you writing exams if you might actually contract this virus, and it might be fatal towards your own life? So those are the difficulties that we always face, and even at this very moment now, having to prepare for the exam, it's that psychological issue that you have to overcome, because you hear that actually there are lecturers who have actually passed away, or lecturers who have actually tested positive. So going forward is very, very, very difficult at this present time, because psychologically I don't think that many students are actually happy with the fact that we have to write exams, because we had a very long break, and that break was so long that you forgot that I'm part of a school, I'm part of a program that needs to be completed. But at this very specific time, it's very, very difficult, because we're in a month that it's winter, and this is where the virus is actually it's at its peak, and many people are being affected, and the numbers are going up daily. So it's very, very, very difficult at this very moment for students.
Just one additional question to you. What would this mean? What would it mean to you, or implicate to you financially, if you were to fail this year's modules?
It would really affect me, in other words, in terms of my goals, because every course that you intend to commence and start, you intend to finish on time. But from my point of view, I would say that yes, it would actually affect me a lot in terms of money being wasted away, because I was supposed to actually get this qualification and move forward with it. So it would really affect me in a negative way.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate your time. Some of the viewers might recall that we did speak earlier on with the SRC president, Sipomti, who was also stating passionately how anxious and sad he is that he's supposed to write exams, and that all the people he represents, or the students he represents, are frustrated to be writing their examination, especially knowing that there was no preparation at all. I am going to bring him back, because he did state that after our interview earlier on, he was approached by the office of the Deputy Minister just to get what exactly did you talk about. Obviously, you have been trying to approach the management and the minister and so forth, trying to reach common ground in terms of maybe postponing the examinations, and you actually said that your college said that they could not do anything about it because these were external exams. What did the Deputy Minister have to say?
Thank you very much, Anda.
We apologize for that break in transmission. Anda Nqonji in the Eastern Cape speaking to the SRC president at a TVET college to find out more about what's happening in terms of students feeling ambushed by exams and not being prepared enough. We'll go back to that story a little bit later on. Let's